chance to hear it, so let her tell it. People on the streets say Sabrina speaks. Tune into the show, she will let you know. Tell all your friends and family. Real talk is no joke. You get the news straight up from grassroots and concerns. You hear some people gone. So tell all your friends to tune in to
Good evening, Cayman. I'm Sabrina Turner, and welcome to Sabrina Speaks, your daily dose of clarity, truth, and community insights. Every weekday from 5 to 6:30 p.m., we're tackling the issues that affect you, from national headlines to grassroots concerns. Whether you're in traffic or winding down your day, this is your chance to hear it straight and speak your truth. So buckle up, Cayman. We're not holding back.
This is the show. We gotta let you know. Now we got to go.
And now here's Sabrina.
One and all, and happy June. Yes, can you imagine? We are in the middle of the year already. And here's our first episode for June 1st of another Sabrina Speaks, Voices of the Islands, Conversations for the World, and the podcast where voices rise. Stories unfold and inspiration takes center stage. It's good to be back with you as we ease on into this week. I don't know how much peanut. I don't know how much still vibing. But whatever it is that you're doing as we enter this new week, I hope that you had a blast of a weekend. Hello to my friends and family near and far. It's good to have you back with us this evening. Yes, I am Sabrina. We're broadcasting from the beautiful Cayman Islands, Monday to Friday from 5 p.m. until 7. But it is indeed a pleasure to be back with you this afternoon. And yes, today is just not another day on the calendar. It's another moment. You know, our island shift into a particular season, and I'm quite sure your social media feeds have been loaded with all of the information, and it speaks a lot about the Cayman Islands and, of course, the region as a whole. Now, a season, yes, of sunshine. We felt the heat pretty early on, but also being choked by dust. Oh, my goodness. Eastern Caribbean family over there in Barbados, St. Lucia, you guys have been slammed, man. Oh, my goodness. But yes, celebration and responsibility as well is all bundled into what we've just entered in for the month of June, straight until November 30th. But because today is June 1st, you know, that marks the official start of hurricane season. And at this very same time, it marks the beginning of summer, a season that is full of graduations, children home from schools, families juggling schedules, trying to find somewhere and some camps and all that sort of stuff. Where am I going to leave my kids? And our communities stepping up for one another. And that's why tonight's episode I've entitled The Islands United, Summer Starts with Strength. It'll all make sense based on the conversation that's about to ensue, because Cayman, we have been here before, and you know that. We have weathered storms literally and emotionally. And to every single time, we have risen above them. And we got to do a little bit of reflection about this weekend, because trust me, I think the end result is not what we expected. But you know what? On many fronts, I respect all sides, but it speaks a lot about what we're capable of doing here from a tourism perspective. And kudos to all of the persons who made that event possible. And definitely to the artists for endorsing the Cayman Islands on their handles as well. But yes, we're going to be looking at reminiscing a little bit about that, but also how we prepare how we protect one another, how we stay connected as well as a community stepping into the season. So I know a lot of you are still on the high. A lot of things have happened. But you know what? We're just keeping it real here. There's nothing wrong with us doing a little reminiscing before we get into the core subject today. And I feel it is worth it because our conversations here and even the subject matters are not about fear. It's all about strength, about solutions, about how tightly committed we are as a community. And, for us here, standing united, Grand Cayman, Kim Brack, Little Cayman, our brothers and sisters, even in the region, we're ready for whatever the season brings. So settle in, one and all. Call your neighbor. Share that link. Invite someone to join even in the conversations. I see you too. And 345-936-8255 is the number to call in live, or you can also WhatsApp message me there as well. But please note that the views expressed by callers, guests, and online commenters are their own and not those of Bridge Media Limited, its affiliates, Sabrina Speaks Show, or the host. Now, this program is for general information only and not a substitute for legal, medical, financial, or professional advice. All participants are reminded to speak responsibly and respectfully. Any content that is defamatory, discriminatory, unlawful, or harmful is strictly prohibited and will not be endorsed or tolerated. Now, listener participation, you continuing to stream on whatever platform you're streaming us live from, acceptance of this disclaimer. So yes, make sure you follow, like, share this page with your friends as well, so that you will always be notified and never miss an episode of Sabrina Speaks right here on your CMR TV channels from right here in the Cayman Islands. Now let's just get straight into it this afternoon. And let's start off with our weather. Yes. Compliments of the Cayman Islands National Weather Service. Now the synopsis for this evening is calling for southeasterly winds and slight to moderate seas are expected across the Cayman Islands as a ridge pattern dominates the area. Now, there is a low chance of a few showers with slight dust haze embedded within the atmosphere. An increased chance in hazy skies can be expected from Tuesday afternoon as a moderate concentration of the Saharan dust is expected to move into the Western Caribbean. Now, a dust alert is in effect, and satellite imagery shows a few low-level clouds across our area. Now, the forecast for tonight is calling for partly cloudy skies with a 20% chance of showers. Temperatures will fall to the low 80s. Winds will be east to southeast, 5 to 10 knots. Seas will be slight to moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. Tomorrow, the forecast is calling for partly cloudy and hazy skies with a 30% chance of showers. Moderate Saharan dust will be across the area, and of course, that dust alert will remain in effect. Temperatures will rise to the low 90s with a heat index of near 103 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, winds will be east to southeast 10 to 15 knots, and seas will be slight to moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. There will be a high tide this evening at 11:19 and a low tide at 5:19 a.m. Sun will set this evening at 6:59 and sun will rise tomorrow morning at 5:47. The outlook is calling for warm and hazy conditions for the next few days as the plume of Saharan dust slowly drifts across the Western Caribbean. And because of that dust alert will be in effect extending through Thursday. So there you have it. All of you people with allergies and all that sort of stuff. Just be very careful and just do all you can in order to make sure you protect yourself. I know I've seen people just going around like they're going crazy. Yeah, I'm just so happy I'm not that sensitive, but still, I'm even conscious of my pets and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm keeping them indoors and just doing, everything I can to take caution. Welcome, one and all. I see you piling in there. And Donnie, what a beauty. I'll share that in a couple minutes, of course. Yep, I will. In a second here for sure. Beautiful. Let's take a look at what's making our news headlines here for this Monday, June 1st, Starting with local news out of the Cayman Islands. The Cayman Islands government's temporary fuel duty waiver comes into effect today, June 1st, making all gasoline and diesel imports duty-free through September 30th. Now, the measure is designed to cushion families from rising global fuel prices driven by instability in the Middle East. Officials from finance, URCO, and customers have coordinated with wholesalers to ensure savings reach customers quickly, though prices may not drop immediately as stations work through existing duty-paid inventory. High-volume stations are expected to reflect the reductions within the first week of June. The Atlantic hurricane season officially begins today, and Cayman authorities are urging residents to stay prepared. Government agencies have strengthened communication channels to ensure the public receives verified weather updates, emergency alerts, and shelter information. Residents are encouraged to bookmark gov.ky and follow official CIG platforms for trusted guidance. CaymanPrepare.ky also offers checklists and resources to help households get ready. Now, officials stress that preparedness is a shared responsibility, and Cayman faces storms best when the community prepares together. Other local news, we see the Parliament of the Cayman Islands is marking Overseas Territories Day by recognizing the shared strength of parliamentary democracy across the overseas territories. The observance highlights the role of democratic institutions in supporting good governance, collaboration, and representation throughout the region. Lawmakers note that the day serves as a reminder of the values, partnership, and constitutional frameworks that connects the territories and guide their continued development. Other local news today, we see where, yes, Cayman's residential property market continued its steady rise in the first quarter of 2026. Now, the Georgetown Residential Property Price Index climbed to 259.8, reflecting a 6.3% increase over the same period last year and 3.6% growth since the previous quarter. Now, the market recorded 710 transactions totaling CI $530 million, with an average sale valued at CI $746,000. Stamp duty revenue reached CI $38.4 million, underscoring a strong activity and sustained confidence across the sector. We see where WORC is making it public that the grace period has been extended for the new work permit advertising rules. And employers are being advised that this grace period for the new 21-day job advertising requirement is now until the 30th of June 2026. Now, during this time, WORC will continue accepting work permit applications that meet the previous 14-day advertising rule, with vacancies still required to appear on WORC jobs portal and in the local newspaper. Employers, though, are encouraged to use the extension to prepare for the full compliance within the 21-day requirement that takes effect on the 1st of July, and encourage all applications to be complete and properly documented to avoid any processing delays. There you have it. That is the latest on that. We turn our attention now and we go to regional news this evening. We start in Turks and Caicos. Yes, because in Turks and Caicos, a powerful message from National Youth Parliamentarian Antoine Walkin stood out at the 2026 JAGS McCarthy Memorial Ceremony. Walkin urged citizens to move beyond rhetoric and recommit to nation building, warning that divisions and complacency pose growing internal threats. Speaking under the theme, Honoring Our Pioneers, Advising the Nation, he said, true progress requires unity, discipline, and action, declaring that his generation must help interpret decline and push for the country to move forward. Also in Jamaica, we see where one of the world's largest warship, the USS Nimitz, is now docked at the port of Kingston, marking the final stop of its 2026 Southern Seas tours. Now the deployment is now in its 11th year, supports regional security, cooperation, and training across the hemisphere. Jamaica's Information Minister, Senator Donna Morris Dixon, says that the arrival of the aircraft carrier underscores the strength of long-standing partnerships between the United States and Jamaica and reflects continued collaboration between both nations. As we step over to Barbados this evening, we see where Barbados Parliament representative to the United Nations and the World Trade Organization in Geneva, Matthew Wilson, has been appointed as chair of the International Labour Organization governing body for the 2026-2027 term. Now, the role places Ambassador Wilson at the helm of the ILO's executive decision-making body, which guides global labor standards, policy direction, and oversight. His appointment is seen as a significant movement for Barbados and the wider Caribbean within the international labor community. And in our business roundup for today, Monday, June 1st, global markets opened on June on a steady note as investors weighed mixed economic data and ongoing geopolitical tensions. Now, the Dow and S&P 500 posted modest gains, while the Nasdaq traded slightly lower on continued tech sector volatility. Oil prices edged up amid uncertainty in the Middle East, and gold held firm as traders sought safe haven assets. Regionally, we see where Caribbean currencies remain stable with no major improvements reported for today. Analysis says that markets are likely to remain cautious as the week continues to unfold. There you have it. That concludes this evening news, even our financial market update here on the Sabrina Speaks platform for this Monday, June 1st. Welcome, welcome, everyone. Hoping everyone had a fantastic weekend. Yes, I want to send birthday shout outs and greetings to everyone who celebrated a birthday over the weekend. Definitely those who are celebrating a birthday today as well, or anniversary over the weekend and into today. I really want to send best wishes to you on your special day and wishing you many, many more to come as I pull in my images for my next section here. We're sending you all the love here from all of us here on the Sabrina Speaks platform. Yes, and we also have to bear in mind that we are having persons in our community who may be or who are mourning the loss of a loved one. You're not forgotten. And we also want to send our sincere condolences to you as well as you navigate these times. Yes. It is good to be back. I see you all. 345-936-8255 is the number to call and join in live on everything that's happening here. We see where Heritage Month is wrapped up. Oh my goodness. Kudos to all of you who made that possible. What a month it is. Now, Art Week continues into this week. It kicked off on Friday, so we want to make sure you go on and you look at all the events that are happening for Art Week. We will definitely share it with you as we ease on into the summer and looking forward to the end of the year. Big national celebrations again that is happening. Lots are going to be going on and plenty to look forward to as well. We want to say good evening and welcome to Donnie. Good evening, Don. You were the first one to comment today. Go girl. How are you? Connie Bonnie is in the house. She's saying good evening, Auntie Sabrina, Turner, community activist, and the crew. Yes, Andrew is here as well. Good evening to you, my dear. Blessed Monday to you as well. Fort Lauderdale is in the house, or Florida as a whole. Miss Dorothy is here. Always good to have you joining us. Welcome to you. Aliano, good evening to you. Hope you're continuing to recover and is doing well. Yes. Annie is in the house. Good evening to you. Hope you had a weekend full of laughter and fun, or maybe you were one who kicked back. Lots were going on this weekend, I must say, but we're going to get there. Damien, UK, is sharing the love and his words of inspiration and encouragement today. What do you got in store for us today? He says, Happy Monday, all. Never be bullied into silence. Never allow someone to be made a victim. Accept no one's definition of your life. Define yourself. Once you claim that power, your voice becomes something no one can take from you. Stand firm in who you are. Shape your own path and let your life be the story you choose to write.
Kaboom!
That was a loud one. And you got it at the top of the hour. Thank you so much for sharing those. And I'm hoping people are enjoying your kind words of inspiration and you are a loyal soul here. Yes, flowers of the day. We want to say thank you, Connie Bonnie, for sharing her orchids of the day. Miss Barbara G is also here with us this evening. Look at these beautiful babies. Wow, look at all of these. There you go. There she goes again. That is Miss Connie with her green thumb. And look, Dawn shared this one with us today as well. She shared her Vanda, and they just opened. So that's a Vanda orchid that Miss Dawn shared with us today. Yeah, thank you for sharing that with us, Miss Dawn. Much appreciated. My content creators in bloom here, definitely. So yeah, we got all of these beautiful orchids that are showcasing here. Thanks to Miss Connie for that one and for Donnie. Yep, Dawn. Thank you guys for that as well. We know that the community outreach continues. Just let me just remind people of this. This community outreach continues, and Bodentown, the RCIPS is out in your area at Webster's Church Hall this evening from 7 o'clock. And tomorrow, Tuesday the 2nd, Savannah Newlands community, there will be at the Joanna Clark Primary School. And Wednesday the 3rd, Constitutional Hall, Georgetown, the capital of the Grand Cayman, Cayman Islands. Here you have it. The Constitutional Hall, RCIPS, will be having their district community meetings on Wednesday and Thursday, the 4th, coming to West Bay at the Sir John A. Cumber Primary School. That's Thursday. So far, so good, based on what I'm seeing and all feedback that I'm hearing from the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service, that these meetings have actually been going on, happening. They have been successful thus far. So we just continue with that here. But today at 7 o'clock, you're in Bodentown. So there you go. Just a gentle reminder in case you want to go out. You know, we got family all over that tunes into the Sabrina Speaks. And I want to say huge congratulations going out to Jada Christian here from, Pembroke Pines from Miami. Jada is just a graduate. She was just graduated from Florida Gulf Course University and in legal studies. She made honors in that college. And this is one proud sister for sure. They're sisters. Aren't they gorgeous? Yes, she's finished. And look at here. Proud grandma. Miss Mac. One proud grandma showing off with her granddaughter. Yeah. So congratulations from your Cayman crew, all of us here on the Sabrina Speaks. And we are willing to share the love. Congratulations, Jada, to mom and dad, Juan and Janelle. Excellent parenting. Excellent job. Oh my God. And if there was one dad who deserves a Hollywood star of fame, it's Juan. It's Juan. Trust me. But great job. Well done, guys. Congratulations, Jada. Looking for my other little uptown, downtown one now to, hit it out. So congratulations. And to grandma, I know you're proud. You gone metric. To all the family that flew in, I hope you guys had a wonderful time and you enjoyed the weekend. So you can see where bodies of water doesn't block us from celebrating these honors. And I know Cayman here is definitely celebrating. You want me to showcase your son or daughter? Of course, we'd be more than happy to share that with you as well as you continue to develop. And, you know, these are our future. So why not showcase them and show them how proud we are of them? I know ours, the primary school and preschool graduations are getting ready to start. And we know we got a lot of my prospect people. Of course, those kids who I know very well, you're going to be walking that stage very soon. And congratulations to Job well done. Well, yeah, as you continue to build here this evening, welcome, welcome, one and all. We got all of the housekeeping stuff that I'm aware of that I covered done in what, 25 minutes? Yes, yes, yes. For those of you who had a wonderful weekend, I did as well. But we're going to just do a little reminiscing, and I'm going to just poke fun at you a little bit. But I was on auntie duties today. Not today, this weekend, yesterday. Look at there, my niece and my nephew. I ended up having to help mom and dad there for a while because duty calls, work calls, and that's what families do. And I was just more than happy. You can see one. Oh gosh. Yeah. Put it like this. When mom came, I crashed. Yes, but I really enjoyed the moment. I had auntie duties, and no one, but all two. Oh my goodness! So I kept taking pictures and videos. We even went for a little swim yesterday, and yeah, but it was fun. It was fun doing that. But oh God, I don't know if it's because they're not mine, but I really just get really stressed, and it's like you're on edge, or not stressed in a bad way, but you're just overly cautious, you're overly protective. But the motherly instincts kicked in and all that sort of stuff. But I understand why they say have your children when you're young. I totally get that. Because by the time they were gone, even though, oh my goodness, the sweetest little things, I was like, oof. Yeah. So I have no grands yet, but I'm willing to chip in. I'm willing to help. This is maybe preparing me for that when that does become a reality. But I tell you what, your girl ain't gonna stand never that. But I enjoy having them over, and it speaks volumes of a family when we can step in and help when that time comes around. But yes, that's my niece and my nephew, cutie pies. Thank you, Anne. You see them, huh? He's just one. And she is just a few months old. And when you pick him up, you see his foot. Oh my God. It's just day and night. He just has a personality that is, you just can't, yeah, put it like this. I love him to the moon and beyond. And yeah, I just love when that time comes that your shift ends and you can just recoup. But yes, for all of you who attended the concert this weekend, I'm getting great reviews back from that so far. Excellent showing of a crowd. Oh my goodness. Well, if we ever needed confirmation as to what level of entertainment, what type of concert with international guests that could stress test capacity, level of production, not to say that we didn't have it before. Let's call an ace a ace. Not to tell you that we have not had international artists here before, yada, 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 but I got to give credit where it's due. Let me tell you something. AI, all the sponsors, everybody who made this a possibility and made it a reality, congratulations to you. It speaks that our jurisdiction can put on world-class events, big events. That concert, and thank you, I got to give this crew a shout out. Everything 345. Let me tell you something, you all rock. Even Sandra did her little thing, but I can understand. With these guys, they're doing it for what they're doing, but that's their life. And I must give credit to the coverage, for all the artists themselves for endorsing the Cayman Islands, everyone who made it possible, the government, the people, the fans, the family, the friends, everyone. They had a choice, I guess. They could have not do and embrace us as we've embraced them. They had a choice. And when you look at the following for what that does here for the Cayman Islands, let me tell you something. If we needed a stress test, we did it and we passed with flying colors. From security, our SIPs, but AI, let me tell you, Congratulations. Congratulations from start to finish. The stage, the lighting, the sound, your crew. I don't know. I cannot imagine what putting on a production at that level must be like when it comes to getting the skill sets in, the manpower from the people who are just there for the bands, for every look. I don't know. That's not my expertise. When I go to those things, I pay my money. I either go in whatever I can afford and I make sure I enjoy. That's locally, and I've attended a number overseas. But let me tell you something. You would not have known that you were not at an event based on what I'm seeing in Florida, somewhere else, Bayside Park, wherever. You would not have known the difference. And as a matter of fact, to be honest with you, I think we even kind of outshone Bayfront Park. Oh yeah, we did. So when you look at the per capita, when you look at a small island developing state and what we were able to do here, knowing that we're continuing to charter a course, I think we did a heck of a job. And for a Caymanian-owned business to do that, congratulations to you guys. Congratulations to, like I said, everyone who made it possible. And it just speaks volumes. I think, let me share this. I've heard, even though he has lovers and haters, respect is due. Member for Georgetown Central, when he was the Minister for Tourism, I heard this man says Cayman is ready for entertainment tourism. I stand to be corrected. But what he was trying to see, as we look at enhancing our tourism product, what can we do with tourism? Entertainment. We got the sports. We got the medical. We got all this type of tourism. But this was one of the things that he highlighted and he constantly harped on. And I think that at the end of the day, with what was able to be produced here, that showed every company that came together, every DJ, every sound crew, every production person, everyone from start to finish, what we're able to do. And I want to thank him for not shutting up. And I think someone had to test it in order to prove what we were able to do. And like the artists or not, at the end of the day, another message was resounding. The Cayman Islands is at a crossroads when it comes to deciding where we want to go, how we want to do it. And I feel that a bigger discussion is here. If you needed any evidence, because there were a number of things that were happening on Saturday night as well. The Meals for Wheels Gala, you had this huge concert. You had the March for Jesus, March for Christ, and there was a concert out in town that took place. Guess what? Everybody chose what they wanted to do and where they wanted to go. Some just decided to stay home. But what it really says is that there is no referendum required anymore based on the showing of that one concert, whether or not Cayman has not reached a point where, if you're saying, well, the legislation is there, why don't they enforce? I don't think you need a referendum or no studies to prove the obvious. So at the end of the day, respect is due to all. And I congratulate. And yes, the team is phenomenal. They did a phenomenal job. I got a WhatsApp message. Yes, that AI team is phenomenal. And yes, they are. Kudos to them. And to the management and staff, to the entire team. Congratulations to you guys for making it happen. But yeah, some of you may come for me. Like, where do you stand? No, it's not where do I stand. I have a choice. And that's all. This is not personal. This is a national conversation, because here we are on Monday. Life continues. We're just blessed that no major incidents took place. with the exception of the whatever that was that happened. I'm not even going to do that. That'll have to just sort itself out. But what I'm saying is set that aside. Look at the bigger picture of what we were able to do. And in comparison to some other jurisdiction, I am quite sure we would have aced plus putting on with that type of atmosphere, and for whatever positive or negative would have come with the choice of lyrics, whatever the case may be. And guess what? The gentleman did not have to say one profanity. Did you see one of the videos where he just did this with the mic? And oh my God, I don't know about you, but the crowd was amazing. Word for word. Every lyric. I mean, it was just amazing. For a moment, I got goosebumps because I'm like, but I was listening, seeing, processing much more than just taking in what I was seeing. But I'm like, oh my God, Sabrina, you're not off. This country is ready for a bigger conversation, but people are not going to speak publicly on it. You will never know where some people stand on this because, again, for fear of backlash, for the outburst, whatever, it just takes our leaders to be wise and bold and not make decisions for fear of whether or not they would be liked or get voted back in. If you are going to go into that environment where we're saying we're going to diversify our offerings and look at other revenue streams, you're going to have to make some really hard decisions in looking at our Sunday trade laws, possibly, and music laws as well. Because if you've identified that they're not being upheld anyhow, you might as well amend them to make them go along and stop choking businesses who may want to open, and put some of the businesses can open up longer. I'm just putting it out there because what was displayed speaks volumes. And even in private quarters, if you ask some of our very own professional, generational Caymanians exactly who attends these events but remain low key, every one of them will say, look, at the end of the day, we got to go along with whatever works. Not that we're being disrespectful of our culture and our heritage, but I've accepted things and times are changing. And if there are opportunities here that we can open up other revenue streams and look at what it brought for AI, look at what it brought for influencers, look at what it brought for hotels and car rentals and our restaurants and different things. I mean, wow. We need to look at what we're going to do now over the summer. I noticed where Barbados is having a gospel fest. Here's an idea. Yeah, maybe that concert that happened on Saturday, maybe you want to look at doing a gospel fest. Barbados is having, and it is huge. It's huge. And yet, there are other things going on as well. So what I'm saying, there's an appetite and there's a market to please everybody, but I don't think we should ever find ourselves in a position as a jurisdiction where we cut off our nose to spite our face and where we actually suffocate business continuity, business growth, business opportunities for the fear of not being possibly reelected or not liked. Or I just feel this, we're at a crossroads as a jurisdiction. And, you know, I welcome your feedback on this. If you want, you can call in, you can message me by all means. 345-936-8255 if you want to weigh in on this. And this is not my opinion, just let me make it clear. I'm just speaking what I observed, what we have brought up here. This is not prejudicial. This is just speaking in general. I'm quite sure right now talks are in who's going to be the next big artist. When can we bring in another artist like this? I know it's not cheap, but the potential that it has We need something major in the middle of summer when all of our restaurants and all that sort of stuff have to close down. Yes, we know that the hotels do a lot of renovations and all that sort of stuff, but should our tour bus operators, those who are in the hospitality industry, have to really, really suffer when we could look at other tourism revenue streams that could make, that possibility of inward investment come here because of a product that we have proven Saturday night can work, and maybe just look at stress testing it and see what we can do even during the summer, because not everybody goes away for the entire summer. We have a lot of people that do staycations. So you'd be surprised what you can get here, but it'll be interesting to get the feedback. Yes. Thank you, Dawn, for that. Inspiring. Welcome. It's good to have you join us. Good evening. Greetings, Miss Sabrina. It's good to have you with us. It's been a minute. Lisa, good evening. And to you as well. And she's also saying that to everyone. Alfred Reel said, good evening, Auntie Sabrina. I bet you didn't see me at the concert. I wasn't looking for anybody. To be honest, when I go out like that, let me just be real. When I go out to party, I don't want to hear anything about community events. I don't want to talk about anybody because I'm there to have a good time. I just want to take in the vibe, be in the zone, enjoy my friends, and just let my hair down, my weave, whatever, do my cap. I don't want all of the talking. No. When I go out, I just want to enjoy the moment. And that's what I do. I don't look. If you cross my path, sometimes people will pass you because they're with their friends, they're having a good time, and they may catch sight of you. It's not that I'm standoff. That's a time that you go out to just have a heck of a time and just enjoy. I don't judge people. I don't. I just go out and I want to walk up and get what list on my partner, on my friends. Yeah, that's Caribbean life. Inspiring say, I have a question. What about the fact that this is a Christian country? Should we really be having these types of concerts while calling ourselves Christian? Inspiring. I could tell you that I'm a Christian too, and I still went. It's how far we're going to do that. How far are we going to push this inspiring that you can actually not see the forest for the trees? Who is really saying that? Inspiring. Yes, we are founded on Christian principles. It's a part of our Constitution. But should that be put into place where you're actually hindering growth? That is a bigger question, because, like I said, I don't know if you all are seeing the pictures. I don't know if you all are seeing the videos. If the necessary protocols were met, the necessary licensures were approved, then really, yes, I raised up in an Adventist home. Yes. But at the end of the day, that's not going to stop me if I have to go to the supermarket on a Saturday. That's not going to stop me from making an appointment. I'm not tearing down the church door. I'm not on the choir. No. But you can't tell me, and if I want to go to church or go on the Sunday or whatever, it doesn't, to me, it's bigger than that. Inspiring. And if Saturday night's concert didn't speak, I don't know what else will. Good evening, caller. You're live on Sabrina Speaks.
Good evening, Auntie Sabrina.
Good evening.
But who said that I wanted you to talk to me or anything? I just saying that I saw you,
I don't
but you
look.
didn't see me.
I don't look for a soul, but that's good. And I hope you got an eyeful, but I didn't make it on the Sandra show.
Oh, I got
so
my
that means
eyeful, don't
that mean I did good. No, but what are your thoughts on what you saw with all the videos and captions and everything? I think it was a huge success, by the way.
I mean, whether people like the artist or not, I mean, we have to be honest about one thing. The Cartel concert showed that there's clearly a market for entertainment tourism in Cayman, like you alluded to. Mm-hmm. People came out, money moved, businesses benefited, and the sky didn't fall. Mm-hmm.
And the
right?
church were still open on Sunday.
And the church was still open on Sunday. So if you sin Saturday night, you could have go Sunday, you could have repent, right? So the question is not whether Cayman can host major entertainment events. The question is whether we're willing to manage that growth properly, right? And, you know, I mean, as you alluded to, you know, it isn't just the promoter making money. There were hotels, taxis, restaurants, bars, vendors, security, makeup artists, photographers, content creators, right? Even the little small food sellers can benefit, right? And, you know, we talk about diversifying the economy, but every time a new opportunity appears, you got some people who always got panic because it doesn't look like the old Cayman that they're comfortable with.
So then that's the bigger question. Do we want to go back, or based on our trajectory and where we are, if we stopped everything right now, June 1st, 2026, and says we're not going to do one thing else, we're just going to make sure we bring forward all the things that have been diluted down and just freeze it. Do you think, I see where Tartarian was asking me and looking for feedback, will my vision, it says, let me quote, will your vision benefit Caymanians? We are already going down whatever, quote unquote, and having issues. That ties in to what we're saying.
Well, let me just say this. Let me just back up a minute and say this, right? This is just my opinion, and everybody's entitled to their opinion. I hear people say Cayman is a Christian country, right? And I have, you know, full respect that Christianity has shaped Cayman's history and our values. But again, I've said it before and I'll say it again. No single caller, church, politician, pressure group, they don't get to decide what Christianity means for everybody else here, right? The Cayman Constitution recognizes Cayman's Christian values, but in the same breath, it also affirms rule of law, democracy, equality, and hear this word, freedom, right? So, I mean, it Christians disagree among themselves on music, carnival. Even within Christianity, there's no one church that speaks for us all, right? There's no one Christian that speaks for us all, right? So when somebody says as a Christian country, for me, I got to ask the question, which Christians are you speaking for? And then the Christians and came people of other faiths, people with no faith, right? Public policy has to consider the whole society, not just, you know, the loudest moral voice in the room, right? Should we go back to the old days? You know, people often romanticize the past, but they forget that the old days also had real hardship, right? Fewer opportunities, less access to education, you know, fewer rights to women, less openness, less choice, a much smaller economy. I mean, we can honor Cayman's traditions and still move forward. Respecting the past is not the same as returning to it.
Respect. I noticed that there is a comment here. The Pride Parade is June 27th. I wonder if it will attract a crowd from overseas. That's interesting because I don't know. I can't speak for that. But it goes back into, at the end of the day, inspiring question. I have a question. What about the fact that this is a Christian country? Should we really be having these types of concerts while calling ourselves Christian? And then this question came up. You see, not splitting the conversation into a certain sector of people and their preferences, but what we're saying is exactly what is highlighted in the two questions.
Well, I mean, I would. How can a country be a religion? Any one religion? I thought people fell into the religion. You know, and as I said, I mean, for every if we just keep it within Christianity,
Mhm.
right? I mean, I personally know of people, Christians in different denominations, who will look at other Christians and say, you know, that's not a real Christian,
Mhm.
right? So I mean, so for some, not all, but for some, it's not even enough that you can call yourself a Christian, that you are a Christian. You have to have the right version of it.
Mhm.
Oh, and by the way, my version is the correct version. You know,
Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
no, but
Yeah.
no. I mean, that's the
Yeah, yeah.
attitude behind
I
it,
got
right?
you. I got you.
So nobody, no one,
Hello?
a country
Oh.
can't be reduced to one religion, one church, one pastor, one caller. You know, here I am calling, or one interpretation of morality.
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
I think people need to give up this thing about Cayman is a Christian country. Cayman is made up of many different people. Okay, and even amongst Caymanians who are not all Christian.
And just for full disclosure, this is not going against Christianity. I don't want anyone to take that what we're actually discussing here is going against Christianity or coming
No, no,
after
no,
the
no, no,
churches. No, just for full
no, no, no.
transparency and context, because we do have
Yeah, no,
Christians
no,
join
no.
us at the various part of the conversation and alive. So it is just a matter of going back to what we were speaking about. I think was that on Friday, when we're saying a bigger conversation needs to be had, but not expecting the droves of people that showed up. I don't know. And I'm hoping that we can get some idea of really how much persons were in attendance to that, whether or not that gives any semblance of where we stand on exactly these events and other issues that probably people are not inclined to speak of, subject matters. You know, I've brought up here because you're a regular, the Sunday trade. We see where persons are opening up their boutique stores that has nothing in connection to pharmacy, selling of gas, and all that sort of stuff. Anything for tourism, they're opening up in their advertising. Who's shutting them down? The only difference right
Mm.
now from the big stores is because there is a square footage limit for who can open on Sundays. But I mean, when you look at everything else that's happening and the playing of music and all that sort of stuff, have we reached a time where we really need to just take the bull by the horns and make the decision? This is not advocating for one way or the other. This is just starting the conversation to be had.
Well, I think you can only call ourselves a free country if people have the freedom to choose.
Mm-hmm.
And
But
that's
do
my
you feel
opinion.
that
If I
it's
don't have the freedom to choose, how can I live in a free country if I don't have the freedom to choose? But I won't go church on Sunday if I won't stay home. But I won't go to a cartel concert, or I won't go church and read my Bible.
right?
Right? I mean, you can't have it both ways. You can't say, oh, well, it's a Christian country, and then try to speak for everybody, and then say, oh, we're a free society. The two are mutually exclusive. Either we have a free society or we don't.
Interesting. Well, let's see where it goes. I'm quite sure the conversation will not end here. It will continue to be had, be it in the shadows or in private. But I think eventually it'll be had. And this will go to prove a lot of things as to where our policy makers, our legislators, we will see their strength when something like this comes up. Because I'm telling you, businesses out there
All
are
right.
ready to do business from what the semblance
Well,
that I'm getting.
Well, I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna let you go. I may or may not call in, but Cayman may have Christian roots, but Cayman doesn't belong only to Christians. Cayman belongs to all the people who live here, from here, contribute, raise families, work, and hear this bit, obey the laws here.
Wow. Profound.
All right?
Thank you very much for that. Thank you
Take
for your
care.
contribution as well.
Yeah, man.
Yes, you deserve a kaboom. In synopsis, you deserve a kaboom, but thank you so much for that. Yes, we see where Tartarian is. Okay, we got that feedback. Damian Henry saying everyone is going to have their own opinion, but if these shows help the economy, meaning those concerts helps the economy, isn't that a win-win situation? Yes, I think that speaks volumes, Damien. And as our caller actually said, he was pretty much saying the same thing as your comment is saying here. Yes, all people actually benefit from this. But the big takeaway from what he's saying is that people really need to have choice. They make choices of what they want to do and where they want to go. Andrew is saying medical, sports, art, music, food, all can be an ongoing tourism attraction. Another area is the film and movie industry, giving concessions to companies that want to host these festivals here. Give Airbnb hosts the properties and opportunities for Caymanian young people to be part of the tourism product. Department of Tourism and the minister to come up with an incentive program. And I have a proposal for government. There you go. Well, it's not hard, to actually reach out to the relevant ministries, Andrew. You just reach out, go on their gov.gov.ky and you look for the relevant ministries, and you can email the chief officer and ask for an audience possibly to speak with the minister, and they will probably bring themselves or a policy advisor in to hear what you have to say if you don't want to go directly to the minister. And you make your proposition there and you take it from there. Now, please note, Andrew, that if there anything where compensation or money for your suggestion is concerned, a minister would have to step away, because then you did have to look at it and you don't want to play your hand before time anyhow, unless your idea is actually locked in or you have it protected. So word to the wise there, free right here on Sabrina Speaks. But it is not hard, to be honest, with presenting your proposition. And if the minister feels that it's warranted a look into closer, sometimes you can be given an audience with caucus to present your idea, and then you address the entire caucus, aka the government who will sit in cabinet, and take it from there. You never know. Do not limit yourself. So the first step is to actually make the first step. And I have hopefully given you those building blocks, and we'll just keep seeing from there. Plain and Straight says, good evening, Cayman and Sabrina. Good evening to you, Plain and Straight. Good to have you here, Connie Bonnie. And to you, if I see you out having fun, I would just walk right past you. If don't see me, that's me out minding my own business. How you know? Drink water and mind your own business. What a song says. What's in my cup stays in my cup. Yeah, one of those things. Inspiring says, okay, rum drinking, dancing, drugs, fights. Is this Christianity? No, but it's life, and it happens with or without these concerts. People have a choice of doing this even in their home, Inspiring, and it will still bring conflict. What I'm saying is looking at the bigger picture as a nation, nationally. These are some of the things that happens. I think there was another comment down here. I'll flag this one so I can go back and tie it in Inspiring. Now, please note, I'm just reading your comments. This is not my personal opinions, and I'm not by all means disagreeing or agreeing with you. I'm just getting it out there and food for thought. Let's discuss it. That's what I love with this space. I'm not judging you or judging anybody for their comments, by the way. I just like to unearth these things, to bring them to the surface. Let's talk about it respectfully. But rum drinking, dancing, drugs, fights, is this Christianity? No, it's not. But you don't even have to be a Christian to fighting with, unless you're defending yourself, doing drugs. That's not good for your health. It is contraband. It's against the law, period. Christianity, you don't even have to be Christian. You could be atheist. These are all the things that are still personal choice. Again, where would this fit in for someone who doesn't believe in Christianity? You see what I'm saying? Which goes back to what the caller was saying, Inspiring. This is not just for one group, is what I'm getting. It's looking at it nationally as a whole. And I think our islands, with all of the events that took place on Saturday night, that was well attended by all who chose to go to this event, and that event, whatever other events. Some people chose to not go anywhere. Again, it's a matter of choice. Some people had competing priorities. Some people just couldn't afford it. Some people just said, look, I don't like that mass of a crowd, and I don't have the bandwidth to go, let's say VVIP or whatever the case may be. There could be a plethora of reasons why persons didn't go, but then who did go out and have a good time, they made their choice and they saved towards it, which is why marketing is good, And getting in on early tickets is even better. Andrew says, forget the stress and unwind. We only have one life to live. Lisa Brightly says, God is who read the hearts. God is who read the heart, everyone. It's true. It's what's in your heart and the life that you live. Tartarian says, there must be a time for recuperation. I guess you're talking about the tourism industry. There must be a time for recuperation. We just can't keep going and going. Summer is a time for rest. Do you want people to have a nervous breakdown? One time is enough. I'm quite sure if you throw this out, Tartarian, to the masses, I'm quite sure people in that industry who really feel it hard will say otherwise. But thank you for your feedback if that represents the majority of persons who are in the hospitality industry, because I know persons who, not necessarily tour operators, but those who make their living from the grats and all of that sort of stuff. Some of them really, really have a hard time. And so I think it is up to one's opinion there. But if you look at it wider afield, you can schedule vacation at any time once the income is consistent. And even if there is no downtime in the tourism industry, you're still entitled to apply for your vacation. The coverage will still be there. So again, that's looking at the bigger picture. For example, if I was a restaurant or a business on the waterfront and we know when there are no cruise ships in, whatever the case may be, but stay over tourists brings that volume of people still to my business or businesses on the waterfront, and my staff is entitled to their vacation according to labor laws, then you get enough staff to cover during that time. It doesn't stop me from operating my business, and it doesn't stop my staff from getting an income, because when there's no income, I still have to make up for the shortfall of paying my staff. So what I'm saying, even if that is, in your opinion, Tartarian, summertime is a time for rest. What happens to the people who don't have who have businesses that really there is no rest because bills still have to be paid? That's the bigger question, and that's why I actually said that. Marshall, North Carolina Love is here. Good evening, Sabrina, from Charlotte, North Carolina. Good to have you as usual. Barbara G, where is written that it's a sin to enjoy the life that God has given us? Being in church makes you no more a Christian than standing in a garage makes you a car. Please stop being judgmental. Miss Barbara G, you come out with smoking guns today. Yes, it is so true. Yeah. Where is it written that it's a sin to enjoy the life that God has given us? Being in the church makes you no more Christian than standing in a garage makes you a car. Please stop judgmental. Stop being judgmental. Yeah. Lisa Brightly is saying, we are a country built on Christian principles, but yet we still have bars and nightclubs and liquor stores that sell liquor where profit is made. Yes, Lisa, my point. Thank you for actually saying that. If that is the case, then all of these businesses, are we saying then, would close? What happens to the Caymanians who own these businesses, who make their living from it? I was speaking to someone who, I think it was, a memory. Oh, Wi-Fi chips out. I have a friend who and we were speaking, and they said that they have friends or know of persons who are big Adventists in their country. And you know how they make their living? For the sale of seafood, conch, lobster, and shrimp. They don't eat it. They are big Adventists in their country, but their business is the sale of seafood. Because of their Christianity, should they then stop selling that more than likely, if they're that active in their church, a lot of probably what they donate to events in the church come from profits made from selling seafoods that Adventists don't even eat. Where do you draw the line? And that got me into thinking, and it's similar to what Lisa is saying here. If that is where we're going to go, then we should stop issuing these licenses. And I'm quite sure that would not go down too well. I think that at the end of the day, as hard as this may sound, Cayman is at this crossroads, and it's playing out before our eyes the direction where we're going. And it's very hard for a lot of us who are holding on to those core principles and not seeing exactly what's happening. Yes, I understand the crime, and I understand the risks of fights and all of that that's going to happen. But even without, let's say, these concerts, stuff still happen. People are, what, you're going to grab them by the scruff of their necks and say you have to go into church? Once church is over, then they can go back to whatever they want. That's all I am saying. That's all I'm putting out there for one to be aware of. Marshall is saying, so much for a Christian country with all the sin and outrageousness going on every day. It's a Christian country when it's convenient. You know, I don't know, but it all depends on who you speak to as well. And the age group has a factor. The older we get, not you, because you're not getting older, you're looking at having your priorities different. You're seeing things that, at the end of the day, no longer interest you, but you still want to, like the first caller said, have choice. And I feel that will go a long way. Where it is looking bad as a jurisdiction is when you have commenters and contributors to this that are identifying exactly what we're saying. What's the sense of having laws if they're not being enforced? That speaks louder than anything else. Because is it fair of changing legislation? Because then only one who can change laws are elected leaders. And is it a case where they're not going to change them because they don't want to be the ones that says that they changed it and they relax this and they relax that? Yet you have the laws that continue to be broken because they're not enforced, because we're going a particular direction. At the end of the day, those persons who are in charge with enforcing, if it is becoming a norm, then might as well you just don't make people who knows that they're breaking the law because the laws are not being forced, they're relaxed. It only takes one to even challenge the system, and then the country ends up having to pay them for winning their case. So to avoid all of these lawsuits, because you send enforcement officers to tell me I can't do this, I can't do that, but when you look further afield, you got all of these breaches. All it takes one person to countersue, and whose money would have to be paying them if they win? The people's money. So I know it's hard, and it could be scary for those who want to be career politicians. But I think at the end of the day, the decision at some point in time is going to have to be made at some point in time. Andrew says, the estimate is 20,000, and I certainly do believe that figure is close to 20,000 for the persons that attended. I don't think I was speaking to someone, can hold that amount of people, but I stand to be corrected. I'm really hoping that we can get the true numbers of everybody that was there. And I'm not talking about the production crew. Extrapolate those who had to be there for checks, balance, police, Red Cross, whatever. Remove those, all the workers, remove those just for the patrons who came in. I would love to get that number. And then only after you get that number, then you look at the production crew, the security and all that sort of stuff, the persons who worked that event as well. And then that will be able to tell you. But it would be good to know field of whatever the location named by Cayman Bay. It would be good to know what is the capacity that lot of land for safety reasons would be able to really hold. Then we should get an idea exactly of how much there. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to get the true numbers to see how much people really attended that event. Tartarian says, I worked at many hotels. Radisson, Hyatt, Westin, and slow periods were used to do repairs and upgrades. We can't have these big concerts all year long. There needs to be family time. I didn't say to have the big concerts all year round. I said, but these big concerts do bring in, and if they spread out, Tartarian, over a period of time, to give our economy that jolt in the low times, I think it would do well for everyone, is all I'm saying. Look, at the end of the day, it only takes somebody to make the necessary licensing, submit it. And from what I'm seeing right now, build it and there will come. It just takes somebody to have the nerve, the guts, the proper funding, and excellent marketing strategy, and you'd be surprised. Denver is saying, to each his own in freedom of life. I love my concerts, not putting this cartel concert down. From what I see, people showed in the masses, visually around 12,000, maybe more. However, it's not my style. Therefore, I would never entertain going to such concerts, even if they're free. Well, there you go. You can see that's your opinion. And thank you for actually clearing that up, Denver. But again, you had choice. You could have gone to your regular watering hole that had a genre of music playing that you wanted, or you could have decided to just throw a party or a barbecue for your friends who subscribe to the same lifestyle you do. At the end of the day, as you rightfully say, people showed up and it was a success. Ethel says, good evening to you as well, my dear. Andrew is saying, holistically inclusive of Christian tourism, having Christian bands and crusaders. Yeah, well, like I said, inclusive of Christian tourism. Yeah, there's room for that as well. Like I said at the beginning, Andrew, that right now Barbados is having a gospel fest. And that is drawing in people from all over. So, hey, let's see. We saw what that free concert drew at the Stacey Waltler Pavilion. Hello, maybe there's a market here for it as well. It only takes somebody to just get it going, and you'd be surprised. Someone with guts and vision. That's what it takes. Wake Up, the Cayman Islands is saying, here in the UK, major concerts generally happen in the summer. Summer is concert season. These events can't happen all year round for such a small place like Cayman. Have a season for it. Yes, it's true. Mm-hmm. And there we go. So, and I can understand why the UK will have that, because the weather, it's so cold, even though you could have indoor concerts and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, let's see. I'm not into the entertainment business like that. I'm definitely not a promoter, but who is going to step out? I didn't say all year round. I did not say all year round. Andrew said final ticket sales will reflect, and of course, comps as well. Ticket sales and complimentary passes as well, Andrew. Marshall is saying, churches are quite quiet about everything that goes in the community, except when they have a pride event. That shouldn't be the only time for them to be seen or heard. March and protest for child and elderly abuse, high cost of living, crime, and violence. How about that, churches? That's your comment, Marshall. So we see where at the end of the day, they came out and they had a concert that was nicely attended. I must say they had a good crowd from all accounts and purposes of what I've been told, that people were out there to the gospel concert and they did what they had to do. So I would say by all, from what I'm hearing, that the concert was supported as well, the gospel concert. It looks as though after the march, they had a concert and they had a good crowd. So is it enough to say, okay, this is where we're going to go? Or do we keep asking for respect and cooperation where everyone sit around the table and we chart the course for where we want to go, respecting each person's views and their opinions? Yeah. That is why members of civil society and having persons on boards and committees and all that sort of stuff, it is good for you to have representation from all sectors of life and different age groups as well, so that you can hopefully come with a balance decision and you meet everybody at the same level in charting the direction for which your country is going. But at the end of the day, I feel that, we're here. And if you just throw it out there, you know what's so interesting? A lot of people are very fearful publicly, and I respect that. Not that I'm saying, oh, you have to come here or go on the talk show and blow your tops, whatever the case may be. People are very cautious in what they say publicly. because of fear of retaliation, retribution, or sometimes how other supporters for the platforms come at them. And then you'd be like, what's the sense? They could agree 10,000 folds over. Please say it louder, Sabrina. Say it again, please. That's exactly how we feel. But they will never say it because either their work, how people may perceive them, or because their partner or their family member is in this association, that organization, or big up into this church or that, or for a number of reasons. So guess what? But I bet you they're first in line for a lot of these events. And it's pretty sad, when we're somewhat living in a society like that, where you are almost fearful of really being able to enjoy, as Miss Barbara G is saying, living life. And because of fear of people judging you. And it's so sad. And that's when you said there are so much people that are fakes. This is why you're saying, as long as you can show up to church and you can play the organ, but yet as long as you're not caught on Cayman Mall Road or nobody receives you, sees you lewd videos or whatever the case may be, you're good. You got to maintain whatever you want the general public to see. But deep down in your heart, you just want to go out there. Now, there are certain standards and certain behaviors that anyone who respects themselves should conduct themselves accordingly. But to each his own as well. That definition can go leaps and bounds for some, and some may be more reserved. What I'm saying is, when we have our opportunities to travel to other countries and you're seeing where the seniors are dressed up and they're going out and they're enjoying life and they're having their little glass of wine here, they're dancing like no one's watching. That's because no one's watching. No one cares. They're free to live. But unfortunately, it seems as though this is one of the negative things with living in a small island jurisdiction. And then you look then at the longevity of some of these older people in the European countries and all that sort of stuff, but you look at how they live. They don't make their age. They don't make what society feels of them. And so what if they have a nosy neighbor? Who cares? It's their life. And I feel at the end of the day, that's why some of us get shocked. When our children go overseas to university or college and they come back and you're like, what has happened to him? What has happened to her? Well, I know that's not the kid that left here 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Yeah. And you speak to those kids without judgment. And you would be like, they're still very smart. They remember everything from their upbringing, but they realize they have choice. They realize they're in a society, in an environment that is not judgmental of them. They're still responsible, but they're living their true, authentic self. And of course, you come back and they'd be like, well, I got to take out all these piercings. I can't use the blue hair this time. I can't do that. I can't. For example, I'm just using examples here. What does that say? That they can't be who they are even when they come home? They've found themselves, they've discovered themselves, they're still bringing home the grades, they're still very respectful, and they're just doing what they have to do, but they're also identifying with who they are, have their own preference, and going international just opens them up so much more that they realize one of the fundamental things about life is that you're charting your own course. You have the right to live your life how you want to. And if that doesn't fit into where they call home when they come back home, then guess what? Some of the parents may not like it. But then you try to put them back or to try to conform into this person that they're not to appease the immediate family. Then they start acting out. Wouldn't it be better for them to be embracing who they are and us being accepting respectfully of the choices that they make because they have seen the life of the world through different lenses and they decided, look, this is too restrictive for me. It's not really true. And this is where I want to go. This is just food for thought. How do we know that a lot of the depression and all of that sort of stuff and mental anguish that is being felt right now is not because of such a being surrounded by a society that is so judgmental that you're being judged by even what you put in your shopping cart. You're even judged for how long you go and you sit at a local watering hole because you're a female, because you're married, because you could have your everything locked down. But because everybody talks everything and they don't have a clue how you're able to manage your own personal affairs, but you got to make it into your own. Many kids are coming home. Many kids don't even want to come home. They would prefer to go on tours and go see the world. And yes, they respect, or they would probably encourage their parents, come, let's see this side of the world. And coming home, what do you think? What do you think about this? And at the end of the day, it's a matter of choice. I feel that's where we're boiling down to. And the young generation now that is at the helm, I think we're going to be shocked by that if we don't open ourselves up a little bit more into seeing exactly and listening to our young men and women a little closer and not being judgmental, not being too judgmental, but letting them have their say and just allowing ourselves to be able to see or just switch places for a second to see if we can see it from their perspective a little bit. And then hopefully we'll meet at some point where you can understand respectfully why they're seeing it that way. But we know that older trees are hard to bend, or whatever there's a saying. Yeah, I don't know. Denver says, what I find interesting is that there's always some kind of fighting, bad behavior at concerts here. I used to go into concert with 50 and 100,000 people, also being to a few small crowds, 15 to 20,000 people, all without incidents. And it's happening all over the world, Denver. That's happening all over the world. Best of the best? One concert they had this techno thing, and you watch the news, you watch Fox News, it happens everywhere. Yeah, I'm not telling you that certain concerts, certain crowds don't bring a certain type of behavior. Please don't misread me. But it doesn't make any of these events. There's always a risk with any event. There's risk with any event. So I think, yeah, but it goes back to what I'm saying for the per capita. I must say the Cayman Islands, we have to give the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service, the promoters, the persons who put on this event, kudos. We have to give them kudos because we did a phenomenal job. And to the best of my knowledge, the only incident that was had is the two young ladies fighting over personal disputes. Yeah, that's not gang. That's a personal thing that just unfortunately just spilled out and now is getting the attention. So I don't know. If there are other incidents that happened that didn't make the news, then okay, I stand to be corrected. But that I at the end of the day, I'm sorry that incident happened as two females having to deal with their dispute like that out in an open field like that. It saddens me. Conflict resolution is lacking, but again, tensions, tempers, not taking any sides, but I don't think that can be labeled to this concert at all. So that is two personal issues that just managed to find the place, and it played itself out, for the record, and on the road on the way to the parking lot. That's not even on the field where it happened, but nevertheless, it still took place. I get your point. Damian Henry says, if I make up my mind to speak on an issue, I'm fully prepared to deal with whatever backlash comes with it. What I'm not prepared to tolerate is double standards. The way some people demand honesty but can't handle it, or preach openness yet crumble the moment someone expresses a view that doesn't align with theirs. You're quite right, and that's the problem. if you can dish it out, you got to be ready to take it like a man and take it like a woman. Because, like I rightfully said, Damien, people are entitled to their opinion. And not because they don't see it through your lens that makes what they're saying wrong. Many a times, both perspectives can be very right. Both perspective, it just depends on your preferences. But does that make it law? Does it make it law? So that's one of the things too that's very difficult when you're actually in a position to make laws, is that how do you make a law that strikes the right balance, that respects and reflects everyone? And it's almost impossible, which is why you would always hear me say laws are not static, meaning it's not that it's in stone that it can't be changed, because things and times change, just like laws, policies, regulations. It just all depends on the time. It's just, it all depends on the time. Barbara G says, we have had fights in the schools that were far worse. Do we close the schools down? Exactly, Miss Barbara. And kudos. I don't know if they're not making out of the school confines, but I would stand to be corrected if I'm wrong, that things look like they have settled down at the schools. So we're not hearing all of those. Remember, where almost every other day you used to see something, and I'm hoping that it continues on that trajectory. I mean, school is winding down now and New Year is about to approach. Teachers are going to go off on holiday. What is it, 6 weeks that they get off on holiday? But yeah, I would say that there has been some improvements. If there's anything that's happening, obviously they're dealing with it internally, and it is, but it's not like what we used to see. Some changes in legislation that I hear the Honorable Minister of Education is planning on putting together. Obviously, I'm quite sure he's not only dealing with his ministry's team, teachers, and parent teachers body. I'm hoping that when these decisions are being made, that they have the views and perspective as well from the student body council as well. So that is always a good thing when the students participate in these things, because it is their environment. And I feel that you would get even more adherence to laws and policies in a school when the children, when the students can feel as though their voice matters, and that they can see a replica of what they input around a big table for governing and structure and all that sort of stuff, when they can see that being possible, when they can see their suggestions being put into motion as well. Live Happy and for Jay saying, I create my own entertainment. We should not be dependent on others to entertain us. You're quite right. That too. But I mean, there are just times, Live Happy, that anywhere I go, I have a family that whenever we go, we just take a little vibe. We just take a little spirit with us, that when our family just go out, we just have a good time. We don't get in no problems. We don't mess with anybody. And we have gotten a lot of feedback. Everywhere we go, they're like, when are you guys coming back? Because we really just go out, mind our own business, just have a good time. If we see trouble, we sidestep it and we just move on. But yeah, our own entertainment. I can do that at a public place. I can do that at home. I could do that at my family's house. It's just your personality. And I have gone to these big concerts before with the right crowd. And let me tell you something, we have had a blast. Even servers and stuff are like, wow, you guys are the coolest people that we've seen, that we have worked, and we've worked with a number of people. And I must say, I have always gotten positive feedback wherever I have gone with family and friends. And that is just how we treat those who are serving us, from hotels to local watering holes. I try to build a rapport with everywhere that I go, because I'm respectful and I thank them for their service. It can't be an easy industry. When you have adult beverages being mixed in and people react to those differently, and you got some that just makes them act the fool. You got some who just gets very depressed and cries. And then you got some who's just very happy. It can't be easy, but kudos to you guys in the service industry for all that you do, and for our local owners who make your livelihoods from this. And for those who are aspiring to get into this type of business, kudos to you. Continue, because as we continue to evolve and grow and develop here in the Cayman Islands, services may change, demands will also change. and you go along with it. We got to leave something for the others to follow. Denver says, we will have a new boss in charge of education. We have a new boss in charge for education, Honorable Mr. Ralston Anglin. Yeah, there you go. And obviously something is happening positive there, because we can see the feedback is looking good. And I'm hoping that very soon we will have him on this platform as well, because we know you dedicated for the cold hard truth in the morning, but we have the audience here as well who loves based on all feedback when they're here. So we're working on something to see if we can get them on here, and we can capture this audience in the evening as well to hear feedback from them. And I'll keep you abreast of all of those happenings as well as they continue to develop and evolve. So yeah, let's see what's in store. I know one of the big things was making it not mandatory that no cell phones were allowed. We would love to get an update on that. We see where the ECAP and all that sort of stuff for persons needing assistance. If you felt that your applications had been turned down before, don't be your own judge this time around. People are encouraged, if you see where you need the help, to reapply for it. So, hey, it's a new beginning. Under new, as Denver says, a new boss is in charge. Don't make past experience hinder you from applying. Should you need the assistance, go ahead and apply. Never know. This could be your lucky day. Aliano is saying, I missed the club nights from Matrix to Next Level and so on. The nature of people nowadays is something that boils my blood. Yeah. And again, it's a different generation. It's a different generation that we're dealing with, Aliano. But even since then to now, your maturity level has changed. But those who are coming up after you, they are a different breed from your age group. Like my age group is totally different. There's things that used to happen. I know it when we were out in the day, Marshall, not timelining you, we had issues then too, but it wasn't as bad as what we are now. Each generation comes with a different perspective and different type of behaviors as well. So this is why we're evolving, we're changing, and we put the necessary belts and braces in place in order to deal with the realities. Alfred Real is saying, because Auntie Sabrina, people who don't have anything going on in their own life, all they do is chat other people. And many of them look at what you have. Many of them look at what you have no problem doing, and they're jealous because they can't enjoy life like you. They need to get a life. Well, only them blocking themselves. I ain't incarcerating myself. Oh, no, you don't. I'm not doing that. And Alfred says, so let's start by making Cayman a less judgmental place. And we should all start with ourselves. I'm not judgmental at all. I know you're not. And that's why, yep, I like ya. It just too much time to waste. It's wasting too much time. Aliano says, 42 now, so I'm old in Plata. Oh, please, Aliano. You know, not at all. Denver says, yes, there were the days. Do your thing, no problem, no issues, I guess, no problem. I guess, or no social media. What are your take on that? We didn't have social media back in the day that when you look at the speed of light, what you're doing out could go viral. All of that too as well has changed the behaviors of people. I know some people are out. When you look at did you guys see one of those images, 345, everything 345 captured, when they pan the video out at the audience, that you could just see all of the phone lights, just like, oh my gosh. Yeah. I remember going to concerts and not even capturing moments because I'm so into the concert. And you're like, okay, I didn't get a picture of that one. I didn't get a picture of this because I'm just so immersed into enjoying what I paid for, why I attended. But it is trending. People like to capture these moments. They like to go live and all of that sort of stuff. So, hey, to each his own. If everything 345 didn't make this their livelihood, their business, I wouldn't have been able. Maybe we wouldn't be able to have captured all of those images and be able to see what was happening in real time, for the record, from start to finish to even departure. So kudos to all of you who are going with where we're seeing the world is going in digital media, vlogging, podcasting, going live. Social media is there. We are barely scratching the surface with where technology is taking us now. For some, that could be to our own demise. For some, it could be holding each other accountable. For some, it could ruin their lives, could ruin their marriage, it could ruin their jobs. Yeah, but it didn't mean that crap didn't happen. It just didn't, some of the stuff didn't just get out. So, hush, MySpace was popping. Ay, 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 ay. Well, I tell you what, I am a class of 1990, and I would say for that age group, we did very well. And we, maybe because of my upbringing, like I said, I would be considered raised very sheltered. And maybe that is why I have taken this approach now, because I know best of both worlds. And even at the tender age of 51, going on to 52 on June 12th, I wouldn't change it for nothing in this world. But I know how to make decisions for myself. And I subscribe to just enjoying me now. Wind it back 4 years ago. There were just certain things you were not allowed to do just because of the very role that I was in. But that didn't make me less of a human. No, it did not make me less of a human. Oh, but you're a big minister and you got a family and there's just certain things you can't do. Look, I couldn't wait for Friday, half an hour at the office. I couldn't wait for country. I couldn't wait for peppers. Yes, I tailored it back because sometimes you were just so tired mentally and physically doing your ministerial roles that, yeah, you went MIA because you were tired. But that didn't mean that the desire wasn't there, because you're still human. You still have a family. But at the end of the day, it didn't change who I was as an individual carrying that noble title, carrying out that role. And that will happen when certain things happen and they make headlines, because it's as though you're not human when you're in certain roles. But that doesn't mean that the desire isn't there. So it's a balancing act, to be honest with you. But many of them go out and they're confined. They're confined because they wish they could lick a shot, pass a blank, and they can't do it now because of their role. And that's not anything illegal. That's just enjoying the moment. But how will you be judged if you're seen doing those things is where a lot of people actually have a fear. And yeah, it's very interesting to see the demeanor and the personalities of people change when they are speaking from the perspective of an elected official versus a regular member of society. And you could still go out and enjoy yourself and still be respectful. I attended a couple of rubber dubs, even when I was in elected office, and enjoyed myself too. And yeah, because I'm human, and that's supporting it. You know how much people who saw me before being elected to office, they were like, wow, we miss you. This is the Sabrina that we know. It's so cool to see you out. Yeah. So, we got a lot of maturing to do is what I'm saying. Aliano says, everyone trying to go viral. Click, click, TikTok. Yes. Breen rot. Yeah, they're trying to, who to tell? You can monetize those pages now. And it could be you that makes someone go viral. You never know. Could be an image that they get of you, Aliano, and make them go viral. We don't know. Is it then for the likes? Denver says, a lot going to happen in 5 years with AI. Many jobs lost, many single person business, lots of business closing down. Denver, I seen it right now. I'm producing this show. Sandra speaks about it every morning. The flyers that I use to promote these shows is all now created by myself. I no longer have to outsource that for anybody to do graphics for me. That is something uh, a year ago that I would never ever dream doing. I remember when I was in elected office, someone had to do all of that for me. Reverse hands of time now with what I've been able to capture and what I've been able to do thanks to AI. I'm now producing shows, I'm getting news contents, I'm doing my own graphics, I'm doing reels, I'm doing all of this. I would never, in less than a year ago, have been able to do it. So, yes, I have already removed one expense. I would say multiple expenses by being able to produce this. And I'm learning every day as I perfect my craft here in 12 months. The big takeaway is what I have been able to do in such a short time. If I had knew all of this let's say 3 years back, you wouldn't have been able to stop me as a minister. That's right. Because I would know what I would have wanted. I would have understood it. And you could, because remember now, when you're representing yourself on the local constituency level, and you've heard the Honorable Minister, I think Ms. Kathy, when she was on, she says, maybe I should show them certain things. She was being honest because you are still responsible for helping yourself in your constituency because your ministerial team is not there to help you on the constituency level. So you depend on resources, friends, people who's on your committee to do things. But it is something powerful when you can help yourself. And Denver, you hit the nail on the head. A salary has already been cut from this platform's overhead because I'm now helping myself. So you're quite right. And I continue to evolve. I have continued to be able to even incorporate it in another business that I'm embarking on to pretty much go 100% digital and paperless. Yes. And thanks to AI, incorporating new software and different things. And it's a one-man show. When I look back now, I would have probably had 3 or more persons to possibly start up. There's no need for it. Absolutely no need for it. Efficient, getting response quicker. So you are quite right. We are going to be left behind at some point in time. Alfred Real says, talking about peppers. I'm feeling for some salt. I could cut me 2 right now. Right now. And a pepper's punch. Oh, yeah. Andrew says, changing times. Football, beach, cinema, Borden's Pizza, 40 to 50 years ago. I know that's Borden's. Oh, best hush puppies, Andrew. Now AI is evolving and we are left behind. Elon Musk building millions of robots called Legon, replacing factory workers. Tesla taxis without drivers and Tesla trucks, no drivers, all autonomous. Yes, meaning they're all driverless. And that is going to increase. You even see Amazon is delivering Amazon packages. I've seen some really viral videos though, where they're really messed up and dropping packages, whatever the case may be. But what I'm saying is those are 1 and 2. You perfect it from there. Another year, if not less, all of these glitches that they're having right now is going to be something that this is the testing phase. And you're quite right. Somebody went away the other day and said that they barely interfaced with a human being from the check-in of their hotel to going into the elevator to ordering breakfast at the restaurants. It was all robots. And that is a generational Caymanian that went away and they're like, oh my gosh. They even went to a medical facility and there were hardly anybody there that was actually dealing with them in a human because it was all automated and robots doing with it. So yeah. And they were not at all. At first they were a little intimidated, but then they're like, oh wow, this interface is user-friendly and I shouldn't be scared of it. But yeah, all through security, during the travel, to getting to the hotel, the resort, there wasn't no whole heap of people there line up checking you in. They did that all themselves, all automated. And there was no touching of elevators and all that sort of stuff because you got in and whatever it is you scanned, whatever. Yeah, they did what they had to do. So it's only a matter of time before it comes here. You're quite right. Denver says 40, great. 50s, some change. 60, many changes. Denver is saying AI just getting up and going in the past year, and look at the strides it has made. That should tell you something right now, Denver. That should tell you something. If it is just now going and you're looking at all of these things, what SpaceX is doing, look at Starlink, look at all of that sort of stuff, the good that that has brought in, and it will continue to evolve. And it's not hard. It's really not hard to just subscribe to some of the happenings that you're seeing and some of the platforms. You're scrolling them every time you're on Facebook or YouTube or Instagram, where they're encouraging you to get up to speed and know this, know that. You'd be surprised how that can make you so efficient in your job. And you're seeing where older persons are applying for jobs and they're going into an environment of younger people, but they have taken the time to invest in themselves. And guess who's getting the jobs? The older persons, that the younger persons are sometimes looking down at them. I could have the story flip, but you get what I'm saying. Because you take the opportunity in your downtime to sometimes dedicate 10, 15 minutes a day to some of these platforms, and you then practice on it. Some of them are cheap. And it's amazing how efficient it can make you at your job. And it actually can help you on your resume as well, because some of their certifications is internationally recognized. So when you're proficient in some of these platforms and these tools, it can make you, honestly, and I think I'm taking a tagline from one of them, and it can make you a beast at your job in efficiency and just your comfort level. You speak with even more confidence, and your execution of your deliverables at work is amazing. So, hey, don't be scared of it. You can do it at your own pace. And I would have never thought that I would be speaking like this about AI if it wasn't for this space where you have to help yourself or you're paying for it. And when you look at the tools that are out there, that you don't have to pay for everything and you're investing in yourself, it's amazing where AI is going, and it's not going anywhere. If you don't have the connectivity, that's a different thing. That's what we're trying to solidify right now with making sure we have proper infrastructure with these cables that you've heard our government speaking to because of its importance in connectivity, financial industry or medical industry and all that sort of stuff. You can make that come down to even how you manage your day-to-day household and individual use of importance of connectivity. So it all has a trickle-down effect, to be honest with you. Live Happy is saying, the construction industry is going to get a hit too with the new expandable container homes. Yes, building homes in hot sun will soon be no more. Live Happy. Thank you for saying that. The main reason, and are some of the reasons why the Honorable Minister for Plahi was saying that they are somewhat behind in this, trying to fill this gap of 3,000 homes for our locals, is because they do not have the manpower fast enough to turn these over fast enough. Now, there are other reasons as well: cost, materials, and all that sort of stuff, inflation. If the government is going to subsidize or fund or seed, whatever, and the rising costs for materials continue to increase, there are certain contracts and all that sort of stuff that you're going to fall afoul, or you have to fund it even more as we see what's happening with inflation, right? So when you go here for true with the expandable container homes, then you look further afield. There has to be something that we can explore that will improve the pace, time, still give us the safety, still of quality, and we can get our people into homes clickety split instead of actually have to depend on manual labor, because we're realizing there is a pace issue. Doesn't that reflect what I'm talking about with AI? It's the same thing. So live happy. Thank you for saying that. Yes. Thank you for saying that. You see where they're exploring other types of housing as long as there is safety and it meets the planning requirements, that we could get people in homes quicker. And this, putting it into context with the use of artificial intelligence, making our lives smarter, smoother. It's not getting lazy. It is just, you're still getting your job, but you're being more effective. And guess what? Many a times you can get more family time, more downtime when you've mastered certain platforms that you can help yourself. You can carve out more personal time with your family because you're working smarter and not harder. Denver is saying, yep, being following it. It's amazing what I have been able to do in less than a year. AI customs agents at airport asking me who I but Aliano, you know what's weird? When in order for me to do certain things online, AI is asking me to confirm that I'm human. Now that is comical. Every time I see that, an automated system is asking me, a human, to prove that I'm human. Yeah, that's how far-fetched it is. So, darling, it soon come. Oh, yeah. It got asked you who your mama is. Andrew says, no pension, no medical insurance, no overtime. You know how much savings that could be? Oh, my God. No overtime. They have another one that comes at 8 hours that replaces it and take over. One robot costs $15,000 or more, way less than $8 an hour. You see that? You see what I'm telling you? There's no sick outs. There's no late. There's no attitude. OMG. This can really, really change the game in certain industries. Now, let's be real. I feel at some point we're going to have these AIs in every industry you can think of, okay? Some way, somehow. But it will not replace every job because it is almost impossible. I will stick my neck out on the line for that one. When you look at our front lines, men and women who serve, when you look at even some of the nursing that is being provided. Yes, you're doing robotic surgery and all that sort of stuff. I think I passed something where history, is it in Guyana, was made with some surgery that they did. I'm going to look at it. Maybe I'll bring it tomorrow. Bring it to you tomorrow. But there's history in the making now with even precision where robots are doing certain things. But I still feel at the end of the day, you see, we're fighting of wars. Now they're using drones, unmanned drones and all this sort of stuff. Yes, it may need less people, but still, at the end of the day, it's an incorporation, an amalgamation of these AI things that they're just certain jobs. Even those developers will tell you, you don't have to be replaced by AI unless you want to. And I say unless you want to, because you've made the decision to not get familiar with it, to feed into it, to help you. That's a personal choice. So I think eventually a lot of things will be not outright replaced, but the demand there are for human labor at the end of the day will be lessened. And I know friends who were just totally scared of it, who have incorporated it in managing their schedule, their appointments, even collecting of payments because they're entrepreneurs. And once they got used to it, oh my God, it's like, I haven't heard from you. Yeah, I'm here with my AI friend. I'm like, am I being replaced? Yeah. So, but they are so now comfortable with it and they're seeing the benefits of it. And that's all it is. It just takes that one step, but it doesn't change them. They still have the best of both worlds. Some may like certain things, some may incorporate it in certain elements of their business, but it has made them more efficient. And I'm quite sure, as you rightfully say here, Andrew, if it's going to lower the cost of your operational overheads, tell me who wouldn't opt for that. Denver says, buy your shares in AI now. Even that, some people have been exploring. How do I do trading and all this sort of stuff? A lot of people are online trading right now. They do the mock trading apps and stuff, and they're getting good at it. So these are things that people are not talking about. But while you're here yapping and tearing down others, you got people right under your nose that are investing in themselves, learning a new tool, learning something new, and they're exploring and getting opportunities offered to them. And it's right there at your fingertips that you scrolling. Instead of reading comments, stop on some of these pages. It'll be amazing, to be honest with you. Denver says, 11.7 to 5 years, $200. There you go. Andrew says, the Cayman Islands model going ask you who your mama is. Oh, the Cayman Islands version of AI, who your mama is. Yep. My son was saying the other day, it would be so nice. They went to Hawaii. And when you heard them saying, how from the second they got on, is it Aloha? Whatever the Airlines is, that everything Hawaiian was there, from the songs to the various different languages to the food to everything was all Hawaiian. And then on the way back, they then was coming out, and as they constantly got here, they're like, wow, Mom, if we could just capture what we saw from Culture Hawaii and put here, but making it our own, it would be amazing. And there was a big chuckle, inside joke though. I said, can you imagine getting someone on the Cayman Airways intercom welcoming you to the Cayman Airways, but in true Caymanian dialect? They'd be like, what? What she just said? Remember, Burchell in the House of Parliament was speaking patois. You don't have to go to Aracha. But what he was trying to say, I wonder how that would be embraced. If it would be something that you could see, you could feel from the moment you get off the plane here, that you can feel, you can hear it, you can see certain things. And again, he's one of those that just go further afield. And to see that despite him going all the way over there, Cayman was still at the bottom of his heart saying, oh my God, if I could just bring this here at home, let's who we are. Let's make it our 345. So, and that's the next generation. So you're quite right. The Cayman model is going to ask you who your mama is. Ain't nothing wrong with that. That's who we are, right? That's who we are. Just put that into context now, similar with our recording on the airlines. And of course, then you put the polished one afterwards and you give a little synopsis of it, let's say, but it was interesting. It got me thinking. Live happy. You will still need humans to repair the AI robots. Oh yeah, that's why I said some of them will never be replaced. And of course, you need the coding as well. There's big business in the coding of these and making different apps and different things to maintain them, because they have to be maintained, right? I asked former Premier Panton about the folding homes from Boxdale also, and would like a follow-up soon. Okay, well, I'll make sure he gets this. So let's see. Well, right now he can, why won't send this to the Minister of Plahi? Yeah, but I can get it to either parties. Let's see, Aliano. Dean, it's good to have you here. Have no fear for AI. When the poor no longer contribute to the economy, let's see what will happen. Hence the talk about a living wage. When people are out because AI is taken over, that countries need to have something put aside, that you give somebody a living wage. That's where it comes into the control that you've heard contributors to this platform constantly be talking about. And so hey, I hope you all see where certain things are coming into line here, whether you're conspiracy or not, but you're looking at technology, and the more you subscribe to it, the more it's actually making its head. And wherever side of the decision you're on, the spectrum you're on in regards to embracing it or not, being replaced, and it's just total control, I think it is there for us to see what's unfolding in real time. The bottom line is cutting cost and profit and money. Yes, you're quite right, my dear. Live Happy says, Mervyn Powell from West Bay has the best Cayman. Live Happy, you get it. Live Happy, you're getting what I was trying to, well, I was paraphrasing for my son. Yes, yes. Mervyn, someone like Mervyn, can you imagine him over the intercom saying that? And even in the airport about your baggage and different sort of stuff. And yeah, these are, did you know? And but it was, again, it was a conversation that came up in a family gathering. I picked them up from the airport and he hung around for a little bit. And it was just amazing to see him reminisce. And he has traveled. Kudos to him and his wife, my daughter-in-law. They have traveled. And it's always refreshing to hear them come back and to see what they have been exposed to and to hear them live that through. And never, ever have they come back and reminisce and share pictures and videos of their travel that I don't hear them say. Not to copycat, boy, we have so much here, but why we not seeing it? Yeah. So that goes to show you what's in him is in him. Don't care where he go. 3, 4, 5 is still in him. And he still has Cayman at heart. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the close of this episode or today's edition of the Sabrina Speaks that almost had felt like a freestyle event here because we didn't even graze what I wanted to talk about today. But you know what? That's what I love about this space. We made it our own. Thank you, all of you, for showing up. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your calls. Thank you for your WhatsApp message. I'll share that link, my friend, once I do. Afterward, that was a video, so I'm going to have some challenges there. That's why I'm not ignoring you. I see you, but I will share it with my contacts. So yes, but to all of our frontline staff, uniform service, people in the medical industry, yes, thank you for your service. And to all of you, the heartbeat of the Sabrina Speaks platform, thank you for your loyalty. Thank you for always showing up. Thank you for not making me feel alone. Donna, hope you're doing well. And yes, to all of my UK crew, thank you as well for joining us. Until tomorrow, please have a safe evening and looking forward to tomorrow. God bless. Good night. Love you lots.
That's a wrap for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks. Thank you for tuning in and for being part of the conversation. Remember, the dialogue doesn't stop here. Stay engaged, stay informed, and most importantly, stay empowered. We'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m., same time, same place, right here on CMR TV and radio, where your voice matters and your truth is heard. Until then, Cayman, take care of yourself and each other.
That's it for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks, where your voice matters, your story counts, and your truth is always welcome. Join us weekdays from 5 until 6:30 p.m. right here on CMR TV as we dive into the topics that matter most to you. Catch the show live or on demand at cmrtv.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram so you never miss a moment. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and always speak your truth.